Hi Anarki, good morning to one and all. My name is Simonesh. I am from BC B section. My college name is Srinivasa Ramanujan Institute of Technology. Today I am here to tell about the orientation polarization and the presentation orientation polarization. Your first bullet and your second bullet and your third bullet. Introduction to orientation polarization. Orientation polarization refers to the alignment of dipole moment in polar materials under an external electric field. This phenomenon occurs in dielectric materials that have permanent dipoles. It plays a significant role in the overall dielectric properties of materials. Here we see that diagram also. Type of dipole moments: permanent dipole, induced dipole, temporary dipole. In permanent dipole, dipole moment NaCl example and HCl, and dipole moment HCl and AR. And mechanism of orientation polarization. When an external electric field is applied, permanent dipoles tend to align with the field direction. The degree of alignment depends on the strength of the electric field and the nature of the material. Upon removal of the field, the dipoles may return to random orientations, causing temporary polarization. Here we see that diagram also. Type dot dipole moments: permanent dipole and induced dipole and temporary dipole. Factors affecting orientation polarization: the temperature of the material influences the mobility of dipole and their ability to align. The strength of the applied electric field directly affects the extent of dipole orientation. Intrinsic properties of the material, such as molecular structure, also play a crucial role. Here diagram we see that social factors. Social factors are the varied social categories that could affect a person's circumstances, experiences, and social position. Definition and example. Definition is contemporary sociologists define social factors as circumstances or situations that affect people's lifestyles and well-being. Social scientists often use social factors as key metrics in their studies. For example, it's not uncommon for a social scientist to study how a social factor affects a person's life chances. Examples of social factor include socioeconomic status, educational level, environmental circumstance, health, cultural customs, and gender. Electricity and types of materials exhibiting orientation polarization. Here polarization molecules such as water and certain polymers exhibit significant orientation polarization. Materials with high dipole moments tend to demonstrate stronger orientation effects. Non-polar materials typically do not exhibit orientation polarization under an electric field. Here we see the diagram also: unpolarized, polarized, linearly polarized inert, analyzer, linearly inert. And applications of orientation polarization. Orientation polarization is important in the design of capacitors and other electronic components. It is utilized in the development of insulating materials for high voltage applications. Understanding this phenomena aids in enhancing the efficiency of dielectric materials. Here we see the diagram also: different type of capacitors and uses, and comparison with other type of polarizations. Orientation polarization differs from ionic polarization, which involves the displacement of ions, unlike electronic polarization, which involves electronic cloud distortion. Orientation polarizations focus on people. Each type of polarization contributes uniquely to a material overall dielectric response. Mathematical representation. Polarization P can be expressed in terms of the dipole moment by mu and density of dipoles. Typically, educations for orientation polarization is P equal to n by mu, where theta is the angle between dipole moment and field. This relation helps quantitate the extent of polarization in a given material. Here we see that diagram also: dipole moment 2 plus q and minus q divided by d. Mu is equals to dipole moment, q is equals to charge, and d is equals to distance of separation. Role of temperature in orientation polarization. As temperature increases, thermal agitating can hinder dipole alignment, reducing polarization. It contrasts lower temperatures typically enhance the alignment of dipoles with the applied field. Understanding the temperature dependence is crucial for applications in varying environments. Limitations of orientation polarization. Orientation polarization is less effective in non-polar materials, limiting its applicability. The time response for dipole alignment can be slow, affecting high frequency applications. Permanent dipoles may become saturated at high electric fields, limiting their effectiveness. Here we see the diagram also. What is orientation polarization? Conclusion. Conclusion of this orientation polarization. Orientation polarization is a fundamental concept in understanding dielectric material and their behavior. It has significant implications for various applications in electronics and material science. Future research may focus on optimizing materials to enhance orientation polarization effects. Feel free to customize or modify any of the content as needed. Here we see the diagram also. Principle of dielectric polarization. Electric field and insulator cancel with each other out. So thank you. This is about my orientation polarization in physics.